Tell me, she said slowly, if you were given a chance to change your life completely, no matter the cost, would you take it? Ikenna forced a dry laugh when the old woman asked a strange question. With my situation now, he said jokingly, I can sacrifice what I love the most just to change my life for good. The old woman looked at him for a long moment. Her eyes were calm, almost too calm. She smiled slowly. Go, she said softly, and do not be afraid. Ikenna did not think deeply about her words. He assumed she was just another poor, hungry woman talking in riddles. He waved lightly and continued down the forest path. That night, when he reached his hut, the pain he had felt earlier returned. Ada's mother's word echoed in his mind. He knelt on the floor. God of my fathers, he prayed with tears in his eyes. I am tired of shame. I am tired of being broke. I am tired of being looked down on. Please change my story. Perform a miracle for me. He cried until sleep overtook him. Before dawn, he stirred. The hair in his hut felt different. As he stretched his hand towards the side of the wooden bed, his finger brushed against something hard. He opened his eyes slowly. There, beside him, was a large bag. His heart began to race. He sat up quickly and pulled the bag closer, his hand trembling as he opened it. Inside were bundles of cash, thousands, hundreds stacked tightly, millions of naira. He covered his mouth to stop himself from screaming. He blinked repeatedly. This must be a dream, he whispered. But it was not a dream. The money was real. The smell of fresh notes filled the small hut. Without making any noise, Ikenna quickly tied the bag and hid it under his bed. He sat there staring at the mud wall, his heart pounding loudly. Is this the miracle I prayed for last night? He asked himself. His prayer from the night before replayed in his mind. He convinced himself it was God's answer. Yes, he muttered, God has remembered me. From that day forward, everything changed. Ikenna moved quietly but strategically. He purchased a large piece of farmland at the edge of the village and began cultivating cocoa. He hired workers, then he bought another plot of land and started building a house made of cement blocks instead of mud. The village began to talk. Within months, his transformation was obvious. He spent lavishly on Ada once again. He bought her expensive wrappers, jewelry, food items in large quantities. Mama Ada's joy returned stronger than before. One afternoon, Ikenna arrived at Ada's compound carrying a goat tied with rope, bags of yam, bottles of oil, jewelry, money, and colorful wrappers. Mama Ada dropped the cassava she was peeling and stood up quickly. My son, she shouted happily. Welcome, welcome. She began praising him loudly, calling him strong names. Odogu, great man, blessing of this house. Ada, who had been resting inside, woke up at the noise and stepped outside. When she saw the heap of gifts, her face hardened. Ikenna, what is all this? She asked quietly. They are for you, he replied proudly. She shook her head. I will not accept this. Her mother turned to her sharply. What are you saying, my daughter? Ada looked at Ikenna. My spirit does not accept it. I will not accept the gifts I do not know the source. Ikenna blinked in surprise. What do you mean? This is from my cocoa farm. Ada folded her arms. Where did you get money to start the cocoa farm in the first place? Before Ikenna could answer, Mama Ada cut in. Why are you behaving like a foolish girl? She scolded. When a man succeeds, you start questioning him. Is it not obvious that God has blessed him? Ada tried again. Mama, I just want clarity. Enough, her mother shouted. You will chase away your destiny with too many questions. The more Ada pushed, the more her mother silenced her. Frustrated and hot, Ada stormed out of the compound and headed to her friend Ifeoma's house. Mama Ada turned back to Ikenna with a sweet smile. Don't mind her, she said softly. Young girls sometimes talk too much. She leaned closer. You are also taking too long to marry her. Once you marry her, she will stop questioning you. She will become very obedient to you. Ikenna nodded slowly. I will come and do the needful soon. At Ifeoma's house, Ada poured out everything. I don't understand, she said. Something feels wrong. Ifeoma shrugged. It is not a crime for a man to get rich suddenly. But as long as he is not doing anything evil, enjoy it, my dear, Ifeoma advised her. Before another woman snatched him, you better enjoy him. Ada felt torn. Her mother said one thing, her friend said another. Maybe she was overthinking the whole thing. Maybe she was simply afraid of change. Meanwhile, Ikenna Coco's farm flourished. Workers moved around carrying baskets. The sight of it gave him pride. One evening, he stood among the cocoa trees giving instructions. Be careful with that selection, he told one worker. Do not waste any pod. Suddenly, he heard clapping behind him. Obi approached, looking around in shock. Chai, Obi exclaimed. Ikenna, is this really yours? Is it really true? Ikenna smiled confidently. Obi looked around again. How did this happen? Ikenna laughed lightly. My brother, it is God, oh. Heaven has smiled on me. Obi narrowed his eyes. I still do not believe this is just heaven's blessing. What do you mean? Ikenna asked. Did you end up going to Ugo behind my back? Obi asked quietly. Ikenna's expression hardened. No, I did not go to him. Obi stepped closer. Please, Ikenna, tell me the truth so that I can also know what to do. You know we suffered together, we have struggled together. How did you suddenly become this big? My brother, it is God, Ikenna repeated. Obi shook his head in frustration. You and Ugo left me alone in poverty. Ikenna frowned. What are you saying? Okay, let me give you some money. No, I want you to show me how to fish, not to give me fish. Obi's voice cracked slightly. You both have escaped, and I am still here. Without waiting for a reply, Obi turned angrily and walked away. Ikenna watched him go, a strange unease settling in his chest. For a brief moment, the memory of the old woman in the forest flashed in his mind. Sacrifice what you love the most. He quickly shook the thought away. This is just God blessing. I didn't do anything. The woman didn't even give me anything, he whispered to himself. But deep inside, something was beginning to stir. The wedding between Ikenna and Ada became the talk of Nnewi for many seasons. From morning to evening, drums echoed across the village square. Women tied bright wrappers and men wore their best isiagu. Goats were slaughtered, pots of jollof rice and powdered yam were prepared in large quantities. The palm wine flowed freely. People came from far and near. There were overflow of food. Some came because they loved Ada, and others came because they were curious about Ikenna's sudden wealth. But on that day, nobody questioned anything. They ate, drank, and celebrated. The traditional rites were done properly. The elders blessed the union. Ikenna stood tall and proud as he held Ada's hand. When she knelt to serve him palm wine according to custom, he lifted her gently, smiling with affection. He truly loved Ada. Mama Ada was the happiest of all. She danced tirelessly, spraying money on musicians and making sure no guest left hungry. My son has done well, she kept shouting. He has honored us. As night fell and the guests slowly departed, the compound grew quiet. Inside their new house, decorated with fine curtains and polished furniture, Ada rested her head on Ikenna's chest. Thank you, my husband, she whispered softly, for everything, for the wedding, and for loving me. Ikenna kissed her forehead. It is my pleasure. I will go any length to show how much I love you. She yawned, exhausted from the long day, and soon fell asleep. Ikenna also drifted into sleep. But at midnight, he turned. Desire rose within him. It was their wedding night after all. He turned towards his wife, reaching out to touch her, to make love with her. But what he saw made his blood freeze. Where Ada had been lying was now a massive python. Its thick body curled on the bed, its scales glistened faintly in the moonlight. Ikenna jumped back with a scream. No! He shouted. The snake body moved slowly. Panicked, he rushed to the corner of the room and grabbed a cutlass. His hand trembled as he raised it. Suddenly, a familiar voice spoke. Do not! He turned sharply. The old woman from the forest stood beside him in the room. How did you get here? He cried. What is happening? Where is my wife? The old woman's eyes were calm but firm. You asked for it, she said. This is how you will pay for the riches you have been enjoying. What? I did not request anything, he shouted. You did, he replied. Your heart yearned for it, and your mouth spoke it. I was joking, he screamed. I did not mean it. Her expression adding, you have enjoyed the wealth without questioning its source. Now, it is time to start paying back. He shook his head. No, no. The old woman ignored his cries and continued. Your wife will always transform into a snake when you want to make love to her. Do not worry, this will only happen whenever you want to make love to her. That is the price. Ikenna dropped the cutlass. No, Mama, I cannot. It is the only way to repay what you have received, she said. Tears streamed down his face. Please, change it. She is not aware, the woman added. No one will know, even she will not know what is going on. It will remain your secret, but she will never bear a child. His heart broke at those words. I love her. I cannot do this to her, he screamed. The old woman stared at him for a long second. Then she vanished into thin air. Moments later, the huge python slowly shrank and transformed back into Ada. She lay peacefully, still asleep, unaware of everything that had happened. Ikenna collapsed beside the bed and wept silently. The next morning, he could not eat. He left for his farm very early, his mind troubled. Among the cocoa trees, he stood staring at nothing. He needed advice, and he decided to visit Ugo. When he arrived at Ugo's house, they exchanged pleasantry warmly. It had been a long time. You are now a big now, Ikenna said weakly. Ugo smiled. Work keeps me busy, you know. Ugo, I have come to meet you for something serious, Ikenna said quietly. They sat down. Ikenna narrated everything, the old woman, how he got the money, and the transformation of his wife in the middle of the night. He then asked Ugo, are you also paying back something dangerous? Ugo stared at him for a moment. Then he burst into laughter. What? Ikenna, I did not do any ritual, Ugo said. What do you mean? Ikenna turned to him. You suddenly have money, so I believe that is the same thing you did. No, my friend, I did not do any ritual. When I went to learn trade under my uncle, he gave me some loan to start my own business. That is how I grew. I travel often because I am repaying him. I cannot afford to sit around in the village. I have to pay back the loan. Ikenna felt his chest tighten. What? You mean you didn't do any ritual? None, Ugo replied firmly. Tears filled Ikenna's eyes. He had assumed, he had chosen greed over patience. Oh my God, I was lazy, he whispered. Ugo placed a hand on his shoulder. The ball is in your court. Do what is right. Ikenna returned home heavy-hearted. Weeks turned into months. He avoided intimacy with Ada. Every night he found excuses. Ada grew unhappy. Do you not love me, my husband? She asked one evening. He could not answer her. That night, as they slept, the old woman appeared again. You are wasting our time, she said sharply. Please, he begged. Change the tent. I can't do this to my wife. I cannot do this. There is only one solution, she said. Lose all your wealth. Return to poverty with your wife. Silence filled the room. Ikenna looked at Ada's sleeping face. He remembered her laughter, her kindness, the way she defended him. Then he asked himself, was comfort worth losing her? After a long moment, he spoke to the old woman. Woman, I renounce the wealth, he said firmly. I would rather live in poverty with my wife. The old woman screamed angrily and vanished immediately. Instantly, Ikenna felt a heavy burden lift from his chest. He turned to Ada, who was sleeping, and touched her gently. For the first time since their wedding, he held her without fear, and that night he truly became one with his wife. By morning, sunlight entered through the window of their room. Ada stared and opened her eyes, stretching gently. What she saw beside her startled her. Ikenna was kneeling beside the bed, tears running freely down his face. Ikenna, my husband, she whispered, sitting up quickly. What is it? Why are you crying? He bowed his head. His voice trembled. There is something I must tell you. He confessed everything to her: the old woman in the forest, the strange money, and the condition that followed, and how fear had kept him silent. He told her how he had renounced the wealth because he could not bear to lose her or live with such a terrible secret. I love you, he said, sobbing openly. I choose you over riches, but things may begin to go badly for me now. If you want to leave, I will understand. Ada looked at him quietly for a long moment. You did all of that? Then she reached out and wiped its tears. Thank you for telling me the truth, she said softly. I have always been having strange dreams as well, but I do not understand them. My heart was restless. She held his hands firmly. I do not care about wealth. Ikenna, I married you and not your money. We will face whatever comes together. Relief flooded his heart. True to the old woman's warning, the change came swiftly. That very week, heavy rain poured continuously for days. The nearby river overflowed and flooded his cocoa farm. Workers ran helplessly as water swallowed the crops. Within days, everything was gone. His house project stopped. His savings disappeared. Debt surfaced. The life of comfort vanished like smoke. Villagers whispered again. See how fast it ended, some mocked. But Ada stood beside him. We are going to start again, she said firmly. They returned to simple farming. They planted cassava, maize, and vegetables with their own hands. They woke before sunrise and returned home tired but united. They ignored gossips. Months passed. One evening, Ada held Ikenna's hand shyly. I have something to tell you, she said. I am pregnant. They shouted, they screamed and hugged. Tears filled his eyes once more. But this time, they were tears of joy. 9 months later, Ada gave birth to a healthy baby girl. The child's cry filled their modest home with new hope. Ikenna carried his daughter in his arms and felt a peace he had never known, even in his days of wealth. They continued living within their small means, farming, laughing, and loving one another deeply. They had little, but they had peace. And in the quiet of many nights, Ikenna would look at his wife and child and know that choosing love over greed was the greatest wealth of all. Thank you for watching this video, and if you have watched till this point, please, I want you to smash the subscribe button. This is how you encourage me to write and create more interesting stories like this. I hope you do enjoy the story. Please leave a comment for us in the comment section and tell us what part of the story you love the most. Do you think Ikenna did the right thing, or do you think he did something wrong? Please do not forget to like this video and share with your loved ones. Bye.